G'day, my name's Adrian. I'm from the Pioneer Valley, which is about 64 k's west of Mackay, and I'm going to tell you about my coming out story. I came out when I was 18. I was actually in Japan, and it was just after I left high school, and I promised myself that I would come out after I left school, and got a job working over in Japan, and yeah, I went over there and I met a woman who I became really good friends with, and she had some gay friends, and I basically grabbed her one day and I just said, it was one night, she said that she started having feelings for me, and I thought that was a good time to probably say, you know, what I needed to say, and I couldn't actually say it. I just sat with her for ages, and she kept on guessing these things after I said I need to tell you something. And there was people around, and I couldn't even say it. And one of the things, she kept on guessing these different things. And I'm like, no. And then she said, "Are you gay?" And I said, "No." And because I was so nervous and I couldn't hack it, I said, "Let's go outside." And then we went outside, and then I said, one of the things you said in there, I was one of them, but I was too shaken to say yes. And then she went back through them, and I said, "Yes, I'm that." And she said, "Okay."
So you were that afraid to actually say it out loud that it was just much easier to go through the entire process.
Yeah, look, it was a long time before I could actually say it. So.
And do you feel that you had to go all the way to Japan to feel comfortable and safe to be able to say those words, or at least hear someone else say those words so that you could agree with them?
Not necessarily. I think I just needed to have someone to be able to say it to. She was the right person. I mean, the fact that I was in Japan and had, I was pretty far away from home was, did add obviously to it. But yeah, and my coming out process was developed after I left Mackay. I got back, I left Mackay, and basically came out in a big way at uni down in Newcastle Uni.
So were you living as an out gay person in Japan after? No. So it was just a case of telling
someone, and then a year later I moved to Newcastle.
So it was a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a case of, okay, now I've said it, I can live as a proud gay man. It was you had to keep going through the motion.
Yeah, I came out, and then a year later I came out to my family and friends just before I left, and at that stage I hadn't ever been with a guy, so my friends and family were a little bit like, how do you know, sort of thing.
So it was over the family dinner or at Christmas? Or?
No, I just pulled everyone aside one by one. But
while you were cutting cane, or?
While we're driving and things like that, so there's a little bit of distraction or something.
Yeah.
No. On the phone I told my brother, on the phone I told my sister, my mum I told her in the car while we were driving over the hills at Early Beach.
And how did she take that?
She just said straight away, "I'm so proud of you," which, was the best thing I could ever hear.
And were you expecting that?
I don't know what I was expecting actually, but I just knew it was the right time.
And how about your dad? Often people from farming families, it's the greatest fear is actually telling their father. How did your father take it?
He didn't take it well, but he actually took it really well, considering, relatively speaking. I mean, people have told me that if your dad can accept that you're gay, after meeting him, they've said if your dad can accept that you're gay, then anyone can, because he's the biggest bloody yob. He's not a yob, but he's he's
quintessential Australian.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, how did you do it? What was the catalyst to say it to him?
I actually wrote him a letter, and after I left, and so I didn't come out to everyone.
So he was the last family member you told?
Yeah. And I sent that home, and my sister handed him the letter apparently and said, basically, Adrian's gay. And he read it and he said, I don't like it, but I love him. Which meant a lot to me, and now he's the biggest fucking gay activist I know, advocate, because he called me one day a few years ago and said that, I was sitting out fishing in the boat with this Sheila from the mines, and she was going, oh, I was talking to her about my kids, and I said, oh yeah, Adrian's down in Melbourne, he's gay, and she goes, oh, and you're all right with that? And he goes, yeah, it's all right. A lot of us are AC/DC, which is his way of saying why. And she said, well, you know what? That's really good to hear, because I actually go both ways. And he goes, oh, really? And he, he called me to tell me that. I was happy that he could make people feel comfortable with him and okay with it.
And did you have a fear of telling him because of how he would react to you, or that he would reject you, or because of how he would take it and be seen by other farmers around him?
Probably the first two, yes, but not the last. I don't think he cares that much what other people think, but I thought he would reject me. I thought that he'd disown me. He did say when we were kids that if any of his boys were gay, he'd put a bullet between their eyes.
So it was a really homophobic upbringing, or just it came out every now and again?
It came out every now and then. He didn't really seem like overly homophobic, but just a real larrikin, really sort of friendly sort of guy, and that's just sort of what those sort of guys say sometimes.
So how's your relationship now? Does he ask if you're seeing anyone? Does he actually have an active interest in your love life?
Not really. I mean, he does joke about it from time to time. Not about it, but I don't know, just... I mean, he used to joke about it, but now it's... I don't know, he just seems really cool with it and is happy to talk about it whenever I bring it up. It doesn't faze him that much.
So if you looked back, was it your coming out experience was you wouldn't change a thing, or what advice would you give someone who has a family situation the same as yours, out on a farm, and with a father that's very country or very traditional in their mindset?
Well, I think it's pretty important to consider whether or not it's a healthy decision to make, in terms of, if you come out to your dad, or if there's a chance that your dad will kill you, then don't do it. You've got to make sure that you're safe.
Did you actually fear that, or you reckon he was just joking around as a kid?
Yeah, no, I didn't fear that at that stage, no. I think it's just him big time himself, when I was a kid, but yeah, I think that, for other guys though, everyone's different, and you don't really know how they're going to react. But it's so important that you are honest with yourself and with people that you love.
And it was important for you to come out as an individual, rather than so many people say that they won't come out until they have a partner because they don't see the reason in it.
Yeah, well, each to their own. But I think personally, I didn't have a partner and hadn't even been with anyone, and it was so important for me to know that they accepted who I was before I left, and that I knew where they stood, because they were important people in my life, and I think just as a sign of respect and love, they need to know who you are, and
they do.
Yeah.
Excellent.